Hey, what's up everybody? So I've just made a comparison on WE gas blowback rifles. These ones you can see here, 416, Scar and Honey Badger. But now I'm gonna talk specifically about the KAC. So I have my notes here. Let's start with the magazine. This one is garbage. It's the Gen 1. It will start leaking. The power from this magazine that you get, the FPS, it's not as high as the standard magazines. The only use I had for this, or I would have for this, is just a spare magazine, like your backup, in case something happens with the other magazines. But like I said, this is garbage. It's poorly designed. Just throw this away, throw it in your closet. Backup, maybe, but that's it. Stanak Gen 2 fit nicely, not wobbling too much, they fit pretty much perfectly. PMAC, so all of my PMACs have been modified to fit the 416, but the standard PMACs, they all fit the KAC. So you can buy this, it will work without modification. It's a little bit harder to push it in. So if you don't do it properly, if you just like this, it goes out. So you need to push it all the way in, pull it if it's already there. But they are not wobbling. There is no play whatsoever, even though this has been modified to fit the 416. Works like you would expect. The way to go. I'm mostly using these. I only have one of these. Like them more. Like with all of the GBBRs, you need to glue all the screws with screw glue. Do this, otherwise you will lose them, the gun will be wobbly, the barrel will get loose, because actually these two screws here, these two screws are holding the whole barrel and the chamber. If you remove these two, you can slide the barrel out. One drop of this on each of the screws will save you a lot of trouble. You can, of course, glue every other screw like this on the butt pad. Here inside of this are also screws. If your stock is wobbly, tighten these two set screws, glue them in, it will stop wobbling. I believe you cannot remove these screws. I haven't tried it actually, not sure. If you can, glue them also. So another important thing is these QD attachment points. This one on the side, when the gun is new, it works sort of, but my friend had an issue. It just released itself and it fell to the ground and he broke his red dot. So don't trust this, and don't even try to trust this one in the back. When the gun is new, it's not holding in place. What you need to do, by the way, this one is the stock one. This one is aftermarket for real guns. I bought this, that's the real deal. It didn't even fit inside of these holes. Not in this one, not in this one. Because the tolerances are just completely off. So, what you need to do is take your Dremel tool with this little head. I hope it's in focus. You just run it inside and everything will fit. Just make the groove that's inside a little bit bigger. With this one, if you want to use the back one like I'm using right now, you will have to do it. Make it deeper, the groove inside. It is possible that they have changed this. It is possible that they improved it. They, I don't know, machined it better. I don't know, but both of these guns had the problem that the groove was not deep enough, and the guns were just detaching themselves from the sling. So now let's talk about build quality. The gun feels pretty solid, but there is a little bit of play between the upper receiver and the lower receiver. You can correct this by replacing this pin, but you will have to machine it from scratch. If you can do this, there will be a play between the two parts. It doesn't really matter because the red dot is on the upper receiver. So if you are shooting, it's okay. It's okay. The stock was a little bit wobbly, but I've tightened these 4 screws here and now it's not wobbling at all. There is another screw right here, set screw. right here, which is holding the extended barrel. If you have the shorter version, I'm not sure if it's there, maybe it is, but glue it in, then it won't move the barrel. I wouldn't use this attachment point because that would put a lot of stress on the hinge here, which you don't want to break. There is no attachment point in the front, so I solved it with paracord. So I'm just using this to attach my sling for 2-point style. I'm using the back piece here, which you need to modify, but yeah, that's how I'm running it. The safety feels okay, in my opinion. It's snappy enough for me. This hinge right here, if you fall on the gun, this will happen. That's my friend's gun. If I remember correctly, it was due to this thing. It wasn't holding in place. It dropped to the ground and this happened. If this happens, the only thing you can do is probably glue it in place, put some screws in there. You don't want this to happen. But you also have this with the SCAR, because the mechanism is the same. And I have also seen 4/16s that just broke off in this place right here, and it was just done. So I don't think this should prevent you from buying the gun, because for the most part it's solid. If there is no accident, like if you treat it normally, shouldn't be a problem. Okay, next, quite a big deal, charging handle. This charging handle is not compatible with the 4/16 or M4 style charging handles. I believe it is a little bit shorter, and here it's a little bit different, if I'm not mistaken, but either way, it's not compatible. The problem is that with this particular gun, I heard about 2 cases. This is one of them. The bolt, when it was in the forward position, it was actually banging against the charging handle. And what happened is that it broke off this piece right here. Then the gun is unusable. It's done. Before buying the gun, check if the bolt is banging against this charging handle. In this case, it was okay, it's solid, I haven't had any issues whatsoever. But there might be some lemons. Check it. I can actually show you this gun. What my friend has done, he built this charging handle completely from scratch. Because that's basically the only option. I'm not sure if they are selling them somewhere. Okay, so this is the stock charging handle, and this is built completely from scratch. You can tell it's handmade. Yeah, just. This is just solid piece of steel. The only option other than building your own is probably buying it somewhere from China. I'm not sure if that can be done. Actually, there is a site where you can buy everything, so I believe it should be there. So next, the guide rod. There's a screw here. Glue it in place. It will get loose over time. Okay, next thing, when I already have this in my hand, the nozzle is compatible with SCAR nozzles. So this is the SCAR nozzle here. It's the same for this gun also. This is M4 nozzle without the ring. It broke off, but you don't need the ring if you are running an M4. The ring is there just for the looks, and actually they screwed the hop-up adjustment with this piece, but that's a different story. So it's compatible. Bonus tip, there is actually SCAR H nozzle. The loading tip on SCAR H nozzle is a little bit bigger, and it should withstand more pressure, so to say. It's better. So buy the SCAR H nozzle, the new one. It's better, stronger. So if you have a double feed, this could actually save you. Speaking about the bolt, it's the lightest from all of these compared to the 4/16 and the SCAR. And again, this is basically 4/16, even though it's honey badger. This is the lightest, which means that the recoil is the snappiest and it will work in lower temperatures. I couldn't play with my 4/16, but my friend was still able to play in lower temperature with the KAC. So that's a huge benefit for me. So that's why I like the KAC. So this rubber piece, which sits here in the back, don't remove this. I've seen a guy who removed this, then he was like, oh, the recoil is so strong, blah, blah, blah. and then the whole back plate here just broke off. The gun is useless, you can throw it away basically. Keep this in, don't lose it. Another bonus point, this hammer is the new hammer from WE, it's the stock one, but they improved the left side, they made it a little bit thicker, which means more durable. So I believe the trigger box in this gun is not compatible with the trigger box of the M4 or the SCAR. I'm not sure about that. To be honest, you don't need to replace the trigger box. You only need to replace the pieces that are in the trigger box. Because I talked about it in the first video, every WE gun will have a problem at some point with the trigger. This gun is already affected. If you fire the gun and you wanna reset, it's gonna fire again. Just listen. Now I resetted the trigger, but it fired again. That's because of the hammer is not engaging with the trigger when it resets. Every single WE will have this problem. I'm gonna make a video showing you how to repair this just with a file. It's temporary. In the future, you will have to buy the hammer and the trigger. They sell it separately, it's pretty cheap. Just buy 2-3 pairs and you will be fine. So yeah, that's been it guys. That's the most important things to know about the WE KAC. I cannot think of anything that I would add. From the lineup of WE guns, this is my personal choice. I still own the 416, I have owned the SCAR and I have owned this Honey Badger. But for some reason I just like this one more. It's small, it's versatile, the accuracy is really great, you don't really need longer barrel, anything like that. Yeah, maybe I can tell you a little bit more about upgrades. When it comes to gas blowback rifles, the only thing you really need, there are 3 things that you need to do. Not really. There are 2 things that you need to do and 1 thing that's optional. First thing, exchange the rubber, the hop-up rubber. That's the first thing I do with every single gun. Then you can exchange the barrel for, let's say, Maple Leaf 602. The last thing that you need to do is put NPAS in there. And I have a video how to actually take the piece from the stock nozzle and turn it into an NPAS or just adjustable FPS thingy. I'm gonna link it in the description. It's for free. And you will be able to adjust the FPS to play CQB or in a forest. So just do these 3 things. In my opinion, don't put anything. My battery died, so I need to do the outro once again. Like I said, don't put aftermarket parts, especially the bolt and stuff like that, because it is heavier. If we are talking about the Ratek bolt, it's steel, it's heavier. It might damage the gun. I know that there are people who actually got more performance out of the gun. I don't have the need to push it even further because the limits are just too low for everything. If you put aftermarket parts in there, usually it will start doing some bad things. It might break the gun, but that's my personal experience from what I've heard, what I've read on the forums, and it's not necessary. Just keep it stock and you will be fine. Everything that we are using in the team, it's stock, only the bucking, only the barrel is exchanged and the NPAS is there. That's all you need. So yeah, that's been it guys. I hope you liked the video. I hope you got some useful information out of it. If you did, hit the thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I will always appreciate that. Maybe you have a different experience, different opinions, that's fine. Put them in the comments because there might be people reading the comments and it will help them to make an informed decision on whether to buy this gun or not. And now I'm gonna do the rest. So if you are interested in other guns like the 416, SCAR or this one, make sure to watch the other videos. That's it. See you in the next one. Let's do the SCAR. I feel like I should do the SCAR now. So a very quick update on the KAC. During one game, this screw right here from the recoil spring just broke off and the whole thing just fell apart. So I had to replace the screw, and in the last game actually the whole piece broke off. So I'm not able to use it anymore. So my friend had to make me this replacement part, which I'm gonna exchange for the broke one. So not a nice experience. But still, am I gonna recommend KAC? Yes, definitely, because stuff breaks, that's what it is. Other than that, the gun is good and it will continue to work once I exchange this. So that's a quick update because the video is taking a little bit longer and stuff happens. So that's it, guys. See you in the next one.